broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
We had a summer flame.
Yeah, I'm hitting that right now.
And I told my heart it was just a summer thing.
Great song. What's up, AfterBuzz? Welcome to the ABDC season finale after show here on AfterBuzz.
Cheers,
very
y'all.
excited right now to announce we have a very, very, very special guest in studio, the host of ABDC Road to the VMAs, Mr. Jason Dundas. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on the show.
I am your host for the evening, Jeff Thurm. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeff_Thurm. Very, very excited to have you in the studio, Jason. Tell them where they can find you.
I'm tweeting out right now on at Jason Dundas to all of my Australian friends because it's 3 p.m. in Australia. So they're all in their offices and they can chuck on YouTube and they can watch us now.
Yes, watch live on YouTube.
You hear that accent? Tube, YouTube.
YouTube.
You say tube, right?
Yeah, YouTube.
Yeah, tube, YouTube.
And Mr. Nino.
All right, guys, I'm back. It's your boy Nino, and you can find me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and
Keep the music
Facebook.
going. Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep us going for a little bit. So we had an awesome season of America's Best Dance Crew leading up to the VMAs. Some incredible all-star crews.
Yeah.
Very excited to have you in the studio to talk about
thanks,
it
man.
and hear kind of your opinion and what it was like being there for all the shows.
Yeah. It was wild, man. Let me take you back, right?
Let's go back.
So last year I did a show called Beyond Dance on MTV, which sadly didn't make it to television. But it was 10 weeks of a full-on brutal show. Shout out to all the dancers on that show because they did really well. And that hooked me into the dance genre.
Mm-hmm. There we go.
And a couple of months after that, I got the call up by MTV to go and investigate about this show called America's Best Dance Crew. And the funny thing is when I was 15 years old in Australia, I used to watch this show over there and think this is the coolest stuff I've ever seen, right? And now they're like, yo, you're gonna do it. So I found out a couple of months prior, and I'd always go to the clubs and try and dance. But not,
don't we all?
You know when you watch Justin Timberlake on the VMAs when he's doing Justified and he's doing all these hot
you're
steps?
like, I could do that too.
Yeah. And then when it's kind of dark, you feel like you can. So I went and hired a dance coach before it, and a guy called Brian Boogie, who was in the Boogie Bots, I believe, season 3.
Season 3, Boogie Bots.
Yeah,
Shout out,
he was really cool, man. He was cool. I learned how to dance with him for about 3 months, 4 hours a week, just so I could get in the groove before the show started.
Well, paid off. We saw you on the bleachers in the intro.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So you guys won't know this, but I sent MTV videos of me dancing before the show started, saying, "Please let me dance on the show."
That's amazing.
Because I'm all about hosts that are involved on another level.
100%.
I want to go against the grain of the talking head.
Yeah.
Right. I want to be involved in the show, and I think the audience wants to see a guy that's, understands exactly what's going on and he cares. So I thought if I could be on the same, not ability, obviously, because these dancers are the best in the world, but if I could have a mutual respect with these guys, then maybe we can provide a better show and a more entertaining show. So that was my aim from the get-go.
And totally know what it takes to get a move down.
Exactly. So, dude, I learned how to windmill for 3 months.
No way.
Yeah, my whole body was bashed like you could never imagine. My hips and my...
Can you do it?
I can do 5.
That's pretty good.
Mills and then pop out. Now the trick to the mill, for all those out there who have done the mill, and much respect for those guys, you have to keep your legs completely flared out. And at the moment, mine are like this.
Yeah, totally.
Because your hips don't. It takes a while to get there, but I can do it in this sort of awkward style. But the thing, which even I didn't realize, is then now when I'm on the show and I watch Super Crew bust windmills like I've never seen before, and then dude, they go up on like their elbows.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I'm speechless.
It's crazy.
The amount of work and brutal training they put their bodies through to get to that, and on a show day, the guys at home won't realize, but they're up at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Damn.
And they're not just rehearsing for them, they're rehearsing for cameras.
Right.
So the director's making them go over and over and over and doing these like strenuous dance moves. So it's full on.
That's why we've seen like at least one person per crew get hurt at some point this season.
Yeah, one of the guys from Electrolytes got really sick just 20 minutes before we came on. He'd done all of his rehearsals, camera blocking, we were ready to go. And then we heard that he got rushed off because he was really sick. So they were a guy down. And then Rue from Quest Crew went down as well. Mm-hmm. And then someone else nearly went down. But yeah, it was tough, man.
But Electrolytes never gained the member back, right? He decided it's just not my time. I
think
now.
he just walked away. But I also feel like the next episode, the next week they went out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think maybe it was okay. Although I didn't see him at the finale. He didn't come
I didn't
back.
see him either. Yeah. But Rudy was definitely there. He was front and center at the finale.
He was there, yeah. And the funny thing is, I think he might have hurt himself before we started.
No.
No, I don't remember him seeing him on the first episode.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, maybe he was, maybe he wasn't. But when he came back, it was a huge difference with the crew because he does some big acrobatic stuff, and he's front and center. So it was good for Quest Crew to get him back towards the end.
And they had the homie Eris, shout out to Eris, come out and do some tricks with Ryan. Ryan's crazy, by the way. Ryan has no bones, I think.
No, he's full on, right? He's crazy hair, too.
Right, when he does those, I don't know, I call him a coin drop, but he like drops from his elbow down or jumps from the top and then just lands on his back and spins.
Yeah, how does he do that?
We were going to ask you that.
No, because I saw that. Yeah, he did it like five times.
Yeah. Crazy.
They just jump and then land flat on their backs.
Yes, these guys are crazy.
Well, the Electrolytes did that one dance where they were old guys. They were dressed up as old men. Yeah, like almost like a Johnny... who's the good Johnny Knoxville? Remember he dressed up as the granddad? Yeah. They almost were like that, and then at the end of the routine, they all go and then land flat on their backs.
There were some insane moves throughout the entire season. I want to quickly talk about the finale, but then I definitely want to get into the rest of the season and some of your favorite moments. So we started off this episode with Afrojack's Summer Thing, which is what Quest Crew did their final dance to.
Yeah.
That crew is just so fun.
Yeah. I think the fact that they won is an example that they provide what the people want.
100%.
They're like the DJ that plays the hits.
Yeah.
You go to the club and they're playing for the crowd every time, and they give you a mixture of hardcore dance moves. They do like Dietrich throws out the hardcore mills to spinning on his shoulder, but then they also do the comedic choreography, and their pants come down, and they do fun stuff that the audience relates to, and people who aren't avid dance fans can relate to it.
And I think they're having the most fun out of everyone else, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other guys have fun in different ways, but I think they're obviously...
They look like they're having the most fun.
Yeah, I mean, they're laughing and candid during the whole thing.
Yeah. Right, we got in Quest, after they won that season... You know, if you guys don't know, Quest has the dance studio that I talked about. I used to train at that studio out in Artesia, and they've been really connected with their fans.
Yeah,
like,
right.
You know, they're really, really close with their fans. G-Trix has a really big fan base from YouTube, so I think with them just connecting, teaching out in the community or whatnot, that really kind of helped them propel to even getting a second champion.
It blew me away that actually in the audience, for the first maybe 4 episodes of the show, the majority of the fans were Quest Crew fans.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, literally.
I'm doing that right. Sorry.
First 4 episodes, and they'd come in with huge signs and pictures of Hawk and all this stuff, and we'd have to sometimes tell them to put them away because it's like block cameras, right? But then from episode 4 to 6, it was a Kinjaz show. It was hardcore. Mind you, there was a huge Super Crew presence. They just had like t-shirts on, and they'd all do the thing. But the Kinjaz in the end had especially because the Kinjaz branding is so specific and has great continuity across the board. So they all came out of the woodwork towards the end.
And those guys came. I mean, like they're comprised of a lot of people from a lot of different teams who have actually, you know, battled against each other within the community before. And some of them were on ABDC. A couple of them, I think 3 maybe, were on ABDC.
Yeah, from the Jabberwockies.
Mike Song, you know, and a whole bunch of other people. But I could see we were talking about that. And last week we were talking about the comments. And that people were saying, like, wow, everyone's a really big Kinjaz fan on AFTERBUZZ TV. But I think we were all, like, fans of different crews.
I think it's also, like, I had trouble remembering some of the differences from week to week. Like, I would sometimes mix up Quest Crew and Super Crew just because while they might have, like, a memorable performance, I may not remember who did what from the last week. Kinjaz, I always knew which dance was the Kinjaz dance.
Yeah, because they were so unique compared to everyone else. They didn't do the big flips.
Right.
They were so precise. Funny story, maybe 2-3 months ago when I found out I was hosting the show, the friend of mine works on Dancing with the Stars, a girl called Whitney Carson. She's one of the professional dancers. And I told her I was going to work on this show. And she goes, oh my gosh, you should get these guys on the show. And she played me a video of Kinjaz doing the Ed Sheeran I See Fire routine.
Yes.
Where they're on the cliff. And I watched this thing going, oh my gosh, that's the sickest thing I've ever seen. And then months later, when I went in for the meeting for the first time with MTV to learn about what the crews are, blah, 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 they go, yeah, so we've got these 5 crews, and then this new crew called Kinjaz. And my heart stopped.
That's awesome.
I went, no way.
That's awesome.
And then all season, I was, watching them just going, wow. And then I think on the 4th or 5th episode, I said to Anthony, the lead guy in the group, I said, man, you should bring back that Ed Sheeran jam.
No way.
That's the real deal. And he goes, yeah, maybe we are. They knew all along.
Yeah.
I think they were trying to clear it or something.
But
Like the music or whatever. But
it looked amazing at the end.
Because they did it as their final dance, right?
They did it as their final dance, yeah. And it's also like, if you listen to the lyrics, I think towards the end it says something like, you remember us. It's like the perfect sign-off. And it's so slow and poetic. It's almost like, it's the encore performance.
Was the choreography they did the same in the dance? In the video?
The video I think is 4 minutes. This was maybe 1 minute on the show, so it's very similar.
Because the reason I ask is I wonder if how many of these routines were pre-choreographed that are like already on YouTube. So if Kinjaz fans have already seen this dance, they might have wanted to save it for the finale. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that might be the only one that was like...
It's like, why would you... You don't want to do a dance that your fans have already seen, because then they're not going to vote for you, because they've already seen it. It's not new for them.
Well, the other thing is that those last dances did not impact the voting. So it was almost like, okay, in this scenario, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Exactly.
So they wanted to do something that they knew worked, something that was really emotional, and something that would be new and awesome to the TV viewer, who's different to their YouTube viewer.
I loved it. The cherry blossom was falling down from
it was beautiful.
How amazing was it?
It's
And then,
very touching.
and the camera comes real close. Anthony does the fire
Anthony.
thing.
I wrote that down. Anthony's and just his face, just when he was doing such a simple move, but just the emotion behind it was amazing. Oh my god.
We would cry, man, off camera. Like,
Damn.
oh, and I tell you something else. So we would sit on the side of the set, like on the outside of a house, and it looked like construction site. And I would sit there in this tiny room, and I had a mirror, a makeup artist, and a hairstylist, and because I sweat because I dance in the ad breaks, and they continually powder me down so I'm not shining on TV like a bowling ball. And then my script writer would be there. And we would alter the script a lot. So he'd be back and forth from the truck, changing things, because if T-Pain breaks down crying, we're going to change the script, right? And so we would sit there all the time. We had a monitor watching. We'd all just be in awe going, whoa.
Yeah.
And after that performance, I'd run out on stage and be chatting with the judges. And when we do the show, the chats with the judges sometimes go for 20 minutes. And then they cut down, 15 seconds of the best bit from each judge. And during that, in the finale, all 6 of these, I think there's 6 guys, they were all crying.
Wow.
Just broke down,
There were people in the audience crying.
Yeah, they were so emotionally available during that performance. They were all just like crying. It was insane. It's like they bare their souls so hard when you dance. And that's what I realized dancing with these other dancers. It is, you can't just do the motions.
No.
You
Gotta
have
feel
to
it.
commit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's interesting that you said that this was their last dance, so it didn't really matter or not that it didn't matter, but the votes didn't matter. And I'm actually, although Super Crew was still in 3rd place, I was not a fan of Super Crew's last dance.
Yeah, it wasn't very Super Crew-esque.
It wasn't memorable.
Yeah, I'm not sure what they were trying to do with that.
You know what I was a fan of though was Dunok's speech at the end. He was really he was just so emotional with the whole situation.
All I saw was you grabbing the mic right away.
Yeah.
That's what I saw.
Can we talk about speeches for a sec? Because I got into a lot of crap about the Hawk one.
Because it was so how are you feeling? And you're so very emotional.
So let me
It was live, right?
Yeah, let me justify what happened there, because a bunch of people on Twitter were bashing me about that so hard. So with Dino, we had I think 30 seconds, and I mistakenly gave him the mic, and then he doesn't know how long he has.
Of course.
So I was getting the huge wrap up with him after 30 seconds, so I had to literally grab the mic off him. And he's also emotional.
And you have someone...
Right.
There's a director,
in
director in my ear, yeah, driving me with time for the show because we're running live on that finale.
And I figured that's what it was because you guys were just kind of seeing where the time went in when Hawk was just like.
Well, okay, so let's
save,
fast forward to the end of the show, and before we go on, the director's like, okay, so we have enough time to do all the business, and then we can interview Hawk from Quest Crew, and you'll have about 20 seconds at that point, and I will say in your ear, 20 seconds, and then I'll count you from 10, so you know how to run it. And I go, okay, awesome. So I do the winner is, blah, 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 blah. On my card, there's no writing. They tell me in my ear because I didn't want anyone to see it. And I actually didn't know. I didn't want to know.
Oh, cool.
I
you
only found out when he said the winner
That's
is.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, because I didn't want to look at anyone, and they look at me in the eyes, and I'm like,
Right.
I know.
That's so
shit.
cool. Very cool.
Yeah, I didn't want to know. Anyway, so then I go over to Hawk, and I'm like, yo, here's the trophy, man. You guys won, blah, 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 blah. And I go, how does it feel, man? And as I say, how does it fit? The director goes, we're out of time. I didn't get the 20-second. So I give him the mic, and the guy's like, cut. And I'm like, oh, this is bad.
Yeah,
and
that was sad.
Luckily, he took 2 double breaths.
Yeah, so you were like...
He swallowed,
speechless.
he couldn't speech.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, so I had to justify that on social media to a bunch of people.
So for those of you who thought Jason was just cutting Hawk off,
No.
he wasn't. It was production. That's what happens when you produce live television.
Yes, come on. I'm a big
happens.
fan of Hawk and a big fan of Quest Crew, and I would love to hear them talk.
Did you have a prediction of who was going to win? Like, who in your head did you think was
I
going to win?
thought the Kinjaz were going to win. Just on the basis that they was... If I'm not an avid lover of dance... And I would assume most people who are voting are just the masses, right? Not dance fans, but I'm not sure. I could be wrong. I think if you put all 6 guys together, they look the most different.
Out of everybody.
They stand out. Yeah.
Memorable in a sense.
Yeah, maybe they're not the best. They probably can't do what Super Crew does. And they probably can't be as funny as Quest Crew. But I thought they might win. But then it became pretty clear that Quest Crew had the popularity vote.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they all have individual styles that are different. And I think we see that with Kinjaz. Kinjaz was a little bit more of like isolations and a lot of popping.
Yeah.
And a lot and more like that. And then you see this like Super Crew and Quest. They're all b-boys. That's where they came from, the battle zone. So that's how they come out. But you're right. I thought Kinjaz was going to win. I had this feeling though that Quest's fans were going to come out and just make it happen for them, and it did.
Because 2 of the guys in Quest Crew were on So You Think You Can Dance.
Right.
They have huge backings. I heard that like not Derek Huff. Oh my God, I'm blank. Travis Wall is like supporting him. So like all these So You Think You Can Dance fans are like also like huge Quest fans, and because of that, I was not surprised that they were the winners at all.
Right. Hawk and Dietrich, I think, were the ones that were on.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's right.
So the Kinjaz, I See Fire, we already kind of talked about that. I thought it was beautiful. They didn't move at all. They used that one space.
No, they just stayed there.
Loved it.
It was the simplicity of the hand, like we talked about, was really great. And yeah, I think, I don't know, everyone brought it this season. I mean, thinking back, so I have a list of almost all the dances from the season, and I tried to star some of my favorites.
Okay.
So I guess just starting with Quest. I mean, the most memorable dance for me was their Bang Bang dance that they did in the dresses.
Oh, yeah.
That was just so fun, so funny, so lighthearted, great energy. And then when they did Shut Up and Dance with Me with the 80s costumes, Dietrich steals the mic from you. They just had a fucking good time.
Yeah, they screwed the Bang Bang dance up completely.
What do you mean?
Did they really?
Yeah, they screwed up the end of it big time. They missed a big beat and they all fell apart. But we shoot it a couple times. So they were judged on a really... So they were so lucky to get through that week.
Wow.
Really, it came down to the wire, man. Because they get judged on their first performance, but we film it, I think, 3 times to get a clean shot for TV. But they were, whoa, I thought they were going home that week. I think maybe, was it Electrolytes that went home that week?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so, yeah.
If you could describe Quest Crew in one word.
I would say comedic.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I like
definitely,
that.
definitely. all of them. They could all have their own shows. Dietrich has his own show on YouTube.
You know, Dietrich stayed in character as his female alter ego the entire show.
That's hilarious.
Method
We wouldn't be
actor.
rolling. I'd go, bro. You need to just stand on this little mark bit because you're blocking the camera. He'd go, really, sweetheart? Full on, and he wouldn't bring the character. I'm like, nah, dude, just chill for a second. I get what you're trying to do, but listen. And he's like, oh, really? He didn't stop, man. He was hardcore.
Funny. Good for him.
Yeah.
Kinjaz. I personally loved what they did with the red carpet thing. I thought that was really cool. Although I don't think it had anything to do with that whole theme, by the way, the whole like VMA fashion theme. Not a single fucking crew did anything fashion related. That was like
Quest Crew had the crazy, but I don't feel like anyone really embraced any of the themes. It was so obscure.
No one cared.
Was that the one where IME did that crazy kaleidoscope when they were changing
To
jackets?
Sugar Plum Fairy.
That was
no.
damn tight.
It's pretty sick.
Like,
Yeah.
that was pretty
Sugar
cool.
Plum Fairy was a different. Oh
So
no,
I
it was
think
that.
it
one.
was that one.
It was like
Yeah,
changing.
yeah.
I'm like,
And they had the
doing
shadows and stuff.
That?
Yeah.
Super
it was
brain
cool,
bag
cool,
by that
cool,
one.
cool.
That was crazy.
I thought the beatboxing performance
So
was
cool.
pretty amazing, yeah. And then the sliding dojos.
The dojo.
That one move, and Anthony was the sensei. The one move with the sensei standing there, and they've got all the doors, and all the hands come out, and he goes, and they like at the same time. Wow!
See, that was my favorite part of that dance.
Yeah.
But I feel like I talked about it last week. They could have done so much more with the sliding doors. The visuals were amazing. I did feel like they were taking us through a whole dojo. I loved the feel of it. But I feel like the sliding doors kind of were just sliding the whole time.
Yeah.
And I loved that moment of the do. That only happened once.
Yeah,
I wanted more
loved
of
it.
that.
I loved it because I was telling them, I was like, I've seen this done before. They're all from the collegiate dance circuit. Like a lot of
which?
them. The collegiate dance circuit out here in California. West Coast is really, really big. Where a lot of these colleges have big hip hop dance teams where there's like 30 to 60 people on a team. Can you imagine?
Wow.
So that's mega crew times like 3 basically. And Kinjaz is not, we know Kinjaz is the bigger crew, right? But we've seen this before with the sliding doors a lot on the stage, and what they were doing, I thought what they were doing with this was even better than what I've seen, and I've seen this multiple times. So I disagree, but I think I see what you're coming from. But I thought it was just dope. The different angles that they had the set off the dojo, like it was cool. The visual just gave me everything.
Yeah.
If you could describe Kinjaz in one word, what would it be?
Oh, sharp.
Sharp. Okay, I had
Sharp.
clean.
They're so sharp,
Yeah.
but they're clean, but they're razor clean. You know, they're like choo, choo. Every time they move, they cut the air.
Totally.
It's full on. In the rehearsals, there'd be no one on set. There'd be 10 people on set, and they would come out. Each crew would have to perform, and it'd be me and my stage guy and my script writer, and we'd just be sitting in the audience, and they'd be up there all just going, choo, 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 choo. And it would be the first time we'd all see the dancers. And we'd all just be like, what is going on?
That's crazy.
awesome.
It was sick.
Did you see the dojo happen live, or were you watching it on a screen?
Oh, both. I saw, because once I introduced them, I run around the back of the crowd and then go over and read my next script. And so I saw 50-50. But I always watch the end on screen so I can see what the TV viewer is just seeing.
Because that whole visual only works if you're watching it on
It
screen.
looks like
if
what we're
you're
talking
on
about.
the left wing of the
It looks like
audience,
crap, yeah.
you're seeing behind the thing.
Yeah, I found that a lot of the time with IME, because IME did a lot of stuff where it was specific to the camera angle. Like when they had that huge party where they all had balloons and the trampoline bed and stuff.
It's a birthday.
Everything's on different angles. So the camera is just shooting all over the place. So in the room, we would watch it and go, what are these guys even doing? It's just this like chaos. But then on TV, it all made sense. And all the illusions come to on TV.
Got it.
That Tam girl is solid, man.
Tam is crazy. She was on I'm trying to remember. 8 Flavors back. I think the last season that showed actually.
Yeah, right.
She's crazy.
She's solid.
So good.
She was the one that counted me in the finale, because in my little 8 count, right? Because in the rehearsal. In the rehearsal before music, everyone was just going through the motions. They're just like
So easy for them.
like doing all this stuff, and I go, okay, cool, I can do that.
Obviously.
So I'm doing this. I've never danced on TV, and then we did an actual dress rehearsal. Man, the contrast was like we were going to war.
Did that freak you
In
out?
the dress rehearsal, they had machines pumping out like tubes of oxygen, like sparklers and fire, laser lights, and the music was pumping. And as they go to do the thing, they all just go, nah, push, push, push. And I was like completely left behind. I'm like, I don't even know what's going on. And then it cuts to me, and they're all looking at me, and I'm like, wait, what? And I stand up, and I couldn't even get words out.
Oh my God.
And the EP in my ear's like, Jason, MTV's in the truck. Don't screw it up.
Oh God.
And I go, but I can't talk. So we had to rehearse a couple of times, and then Tam ended up being my savior, and she was the one that was like, ready! And she'd grab me and they're like, let's go! And then she'd go, 5, 6, 7, 8, hit it!
Nice.
And then we do that
That's
thing.
crazy. Where was she sitting next to you? Was
She was
here?
directly in front.
Oh,
So
so
she had
you
her head tilted back.
Gotcha,
She
so
was
you
like,
can see it.
"Go!"
That's amazing. So if you guys did or did not watch my red carpet interview with Jason from the VMAs this weekend, he was very, very excited to share that he did in fact do the 2 sets of 8.
Yeah.
That he made sure that the directors did not cut away.
one shot.
So if you watch it, which I watched many times, because I was like, how the hell did he just get up there?
Right.
He did it.
I was in
And
there,
you killed
man.
it.
I was in there. So they had the idea 2 days before, and then I went in and did rehearsal with Tabitha and Napoleon.
I would
For
freak out.
a couple
oh
hours.
my God.
Man, can I tell you, I wanted
Nappy
to
tabs?
vomit.
What?
I wanted to vomit. So I don't get nervous hosting shows. I've been doing it for 13 years. It's no problem. But doing that dance, I almost vomited before it. And I had a friend come to set. This girl that I've started hanging out with, actually.
Yeah, a friend, I was going to say.
yeah, special friend. And I'm trying to act all cool in front of her. And I was so quiet. Because
That's like even added pressure. You bring a girl.
Yeah, but that's fine because I know how to do my job, but I don't know how to do the dance.
The dance
Right.
part, that's what I'm saying.
And I didn't know it was going to be that overwhelming. Blah.
That's crazy.
But in the end, it was fine.
Yeah, you
and we
killed
only
it.
had one take. The
It was so
director's
fun.
like, we're doing a live, bro. There's no take 2.
It looked good. It looked good.
It looked
Don't
awesome.
screw
There
it
was, I had no idea you were there, but
Yeah.
it was awesome. So Super Crew. My favorite moment of Super Crew, I obviously loved the violin and conductor moment.
Oh my God,
But
yes.
my favorite moment was Uptown Funk.
Barbershop.
When he slid under the people.
Just sick.
So dope.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
What was that?
I thought that was Nagin. I thought that moment elevated the show. I thought that was the moment where we were like, okay, whoa.
Yeah.
Stuff's about to get real. Because the first week everyone was feeling their feet,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was like, boom.
Yeah.
They've utilized the stage pretty well, especially
Yeah.
the subway scenes that we're talking. You know, was that
Yeah.
Uptown Funk? Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
the subway scenes were crazy. Just they were really an ode to B-boy. Like
Yeah.
they're really really all about that, and I think they did a good job with that. So I can see how they got to
The
this.
thing about Uptown Funk as well is it's such a great song to do choreographed dancing to,
what I said.
and then they threw in the break, the b-boy, so it was such a great balance with that song. It had the whole crowd going. It was like an energy in that song which it was hard to find anywhere else in any of the other routines throughout the season. And I mean the ending where he like sweeps him off and he's like,
Yeah.
on to F3, baby, on to F3. It was cool. But I also like the one they did on Ep 5 with Q violin.
Yeah. That was amazing.
Yes,
It was dope.
I love that. That was and then Dunock was the conductor.
Yeah, it was really nice how they just had the spotlight and said, look, you guys can do all these tricks and whatever, but watch this stuff. And they just do these crazy mills.
Is that when they were flipping off of the top riser?
The 10 feet riser.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
Nagin
remember,
did.
but that
Yeah,
was
he
awesome.
flipped off
God.
it.
Yeah.
One word to describe Super Crew.
Oh, power.
Power.
They're so strong, man.
Definitely a power.
Have you
crew.
thought about these answers?
No.
I swear.
No,
Like, you're
but
coming
they're
up with these so easy.
They're so strong and they're so short, but like compact. They're crazy.
You say short and compact?
Yeah. Like I would feel like a giant standing next to them. I'm like, hey man, what's up? What's up? I had this running joke with Dunock where I was gonna feed him the mic up here and make him jump up.
So Electrolytes.
Yeah.
I don't have a favorite moment from Electrolytes.
Well, the Big Bad Wolf was pretty cool. Was that their
Yeah,
first
That
one?
was their first one.
I thought that impressed me on Ep 1. I really liked when they had the guy up the top and they cracked his neck and then dropped him off, and the camera angles on that. I thought that was quite cool.
I still like Electrolytes. I actually enjoyed their finale set when they were with I Am Me and who else was it? I Am Me, Electrolytes,
and We Are Heroes.
And We Are Heroes. Their little part with Manolo, that song Manolo, I like that song. I thought that set that they had right there, like little time that they had was really, really cool.
Yeah.
It was fun.
They're dope guys, and their footwork is really, really cool as well,
I
too.
didn't like the Walkers. I didn't like the Greasers.
Oh yeah, I thought the Greasers didn't really
cheesy.
hit.
I'm like, I'm all about Grease. I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, but like, if you're on So You Think You Can Dance, fine.
Totally.
But if you're on a if you're on a show where you're competing against the Kinjaz and Super Crew and Quest Crew, and they're coming out flipping everywhere, and you do a hot shuffle on a beach, what do you expect?
Yeah. I was really unhappy that Electrolytes stayed and I Am Me went home that week because I really... So, Birthday, the Katy Perry one with the trampoline, was one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was cool.
In the first couple episodes, just because it was fucking fun. Like, this was... And I said this, and I argued this very strongly. This was the road to the VMAs.
Yeah.
So... While I know it's America's Best Dance Crew, I was still picturing each of these dances as which of these dances could live on the VMAs.
Yeah.
be a
That's what I
performance
thought
on
was
the
going to
VMAs, love it,
happen,
yeah.
actually. I thought they were going to do a performance in the VMAs.
I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah,
too.
but I don't know what happened in the
Very
end
upset.
there.
I thought
Yeah.
I was... So we had a lot of theories. I was hoping that they wouldn't announce the winner
I thought what was going to happen, when I first signed on, is that they were going to announce the winner on the show, on the VMAs.
as the opening. Like, here's Nicki Minaj with the winners of...
America's Best Dance Crew.
Yes.
Boom!
Here's Quest Crew.
That's what I thought
I
was
just got
going
the
down.
chills just like thinking of that, actually.
Epic.
That's what I thought. Road
Yeah.
to the VMAs.
When did you find out that it was going to be that Saturday show instead of that Sunday?
Oh, the week before.
See, I was right.
Yeah, you were
okay.
right.
Little birdie
Did
told me.
Did they know that they were going to keep all three? Or was that really a last-minute decision?
I think it might have been last minute.
I don't believe that.
I don't know. I didn't really ask about that, but I think I remember someone coming in saying they were too good. We're going to keep them all, but I don't remember.
I 100% agree with the decision.
Oh, you think it might have been there from the start?
I think as soon as Electrolytes... As soon as Super Crew, Kinjaz, and Quest Crew were in the final three, I think it was decided that America was going to vote. But Frankie was like, we deliberated and we decided that. I think it was already known before the judges' deliberation, personally.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was a good move, actually. I'm pretty sure
I
that
think
helped ratings. That helped the 92 million votes that came in.
96
No,
million.
95, was it? Or
Oh,
96?
God. That's crazy.
I thought they were joking. I said a couple of times, I'm like, are you joking that you did not get 96? And they swear blind they got 96
No,
million.
my feed, my what's it called? My Instagram feed, my Twitter feed, my Facebook feed was just of people like clicking because you could vote.
You
ABDC
could vote
was
1,000
was trending on
times.
Twitter.
It's crazy.
The first episode, we were I think the second highest. Oh, no, we
crazy.
were the highest America-wide.
That's sick.
Yeah, I would get on every episode and talk. I would reply to every tweet. I'd go brain dead, man. It was crazy.
One word for Electrolytes.
Oh, Electrolytes, Speedy.
Speedy.
that footwork.
Yeah, they were like zippy,
I would choose cheesy.
Oh,
Well, I don't want to put a negative stigma on anything.
You don't have to. You're the nice guy.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the comments on this finale episode.
Speedy's a good one. I Am Me, I already said that I loved the Katy Perry one.
Yeah.
The Sugar Plum Fairy didn't work for me.
Yeah, and I also think that the airboards was a huge risk.
That was scary.
Yeah,
Dude.
and they also I don't know if they pulled it off as cleanly as if they didn't have airboards. I don't know if that was the right choice.
I think what screwed them over was how much they emphasized in their opening package how they didn't want anyone to see the hoverboards. They're like, we're going to do this illusion, and you're not even going to know that we're on hoverboards, and we're going to hide it in the costumes. And it was like very obvious that they were
Oh, it was like as clear
on.
as day.
Like if they were like, we're using these hoverboards, like if they were obvious about it, I feel like
Yeah.
in my mind, I was expecting to see like them floating.
Oh, I didn't even, because I can't see the packages because I'm like too busy reading the next script and then
Yeah,
running
no,
off.
they
So
mentioned-
that's what they said. They were going to try and hide the hoverboards.
I think in the beginning, and they did in the
that did not
beginning kind of,
work.
but it didn't really work. They had to. I think they were stacked on each other, and then they were on the hoverboard, and they had that like long kind of dress to kind of try to cover
the dress
it.
didn't work.
But it still didn't
work
cover
out.
it, no.
But
it
the
didn't cover it.
handstand on the hoverboard was dope, though.
It was legit. I mean, what they did on the boards was still legit. And then after the show, we all went into the Warner Brothers lot and had races.
around a lot.
Frankie beat me, the bastard.
So
It was so quick.
my best friend Allie wants to know,
Yeah.
what does Frankie use in his eyelashes to get them so glittery? Do you know?
Oh,
Is there
no,
a
but
makeup
he
secret?
would... Well, I don't know, but he would go in the makeup room for hours. and he'd pull out this big kit of different colors of
glitter.
Yeah, and hairspray, colored hairspray, and then they just choose on the day what they want to do.
Once again, shout out to you, Frankie Grande, for the eyebrows on fleek every episode.
I was saying to my friend, Frankie's the ultimate TV personality.
Yeah.
Like, even on the red carpet at the VMAs, it's like, okay, wow, that's a TV personality.
Yeah.
Like, this is a guy that's pure entertainment instantly.
You're going to remember him anytime, all the time.
Yeah.
We talked a good amount about the judges, especially last week.
Yeah.
I was very hesitant about the judges on the very first episode. I wasn't sure how they were going to do. Like T-Pain, I didn't really know Tiana. And Frankie, I loved him Big Brother. I knew he had dance experience, but I wasn't really sure how I was going to feel about them. They're one of my favorite judging panels on TV right now.
Yeah, right.
I thought that I loved their chemistry. I loved everything they brought. The fact that T-Pain got emotional, like who saw that coming?
Yeah.
I believe that they had chemistry. Even you said that you guys would like hang out. Like,
Yeah, a lot.
Like,
it was cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we'd all our dressing rooms were all next to each other upstairs. T-Pain was recording music in his dressing room before and after
crazy.
the show.
That's cool.
Because he was pumping auto-tune type music out, and we thought he was taking it's Australian. You said taking the piss. It's when like he's playing a joke. And I said to him during one of the commercial breaks, I'm like, "What are you doing in there, man?" He's like, "I got to record music when I got to go. I got to go." And so he was making it in there, and he was cool, man. I had some friends come one time to the show, these English girls, and they're huge T-Pain fans. And we were cranking T-Pain in my room. And after the show, and there's a knock on the door, and T-Pain comes in. He comes in and joins the T-Pain party.
That's awesome.
It was very cool.
T-Pain, he had that viral video where he wasn't using autotune this year.
Singing the national
And that
anthem.
dude was so good.
So here's the thing.
So good.
During the commercial breaks, we would play games with the audience. And we would have this running dance contest and then this singing contest. And there were these young girls singing all sorts of different things. And I would do everything I could to G up the judges. Just because I wanted to just like dig in there, you know? And I was G'ing T-Pain up and going, sing, sing, sing. And the whole crowd of 400 people like, sing, sing. And he grabs the mic and sings Gnarls Barkley Crazy.
Oh my God.
Better than Gnarls Barkley.
See?
He was mind-blowingly good.
That's
It
awesome.
was ridiculous how good he was, man. And he sung the whole, so he sung 2 minutes.
That's awesome.
That is
It was
awesome.
sick. And then on another day, he came up and danced.
Okay.
And his locking was
See, I wish
so
I saw
cool.
that. Didn't you?
What a fun show to just be a part
Yeah,
of.
it was wild, man. He was up every performance. He'd be pacing up and down the little podium.
They look
That's
like the judges look like they had a great time. Like
Yeah.
we said, I think each one of them, as the episodes, came about, we kind of noticed that you had Frankie Grande there for the kind of the technique because of his Broadway background. You had Tiana Taylor there for her choreography background and just her as a performer. But then you had T-Pain there just for overall everything. Like everyone kind of had their own role. I'm sorry, it's Frankie for theatrical, obviously.
Yeah.
I thought it was great, and I had a really good time watching them. But I was really pleasantly surprised, like you said.
They were fun.
I didn't think it was going to be as good as it was.
Yeah,
They
it
were
was
fun.
good.
There's so many talent shows that you just kind of don't really even listen to the judges anymore. And I listened to them. I had fun.
Yeah, you know why? I think it's because they're all under 30. Well, I think Frankie might be 31 or something. But they're all young. So they've all got a fresh take on everything.
Yeah.
And Tiana in particular was very adamant about not saying anything contrived. It was like, this is my opinion and this is what I'm going to say. And she was really all about that, which I thought was quite cool.
That's awesome.
So, Jason, favorite moment of the entire season?
Okay, I think favorite moment. I mean, when T-Pain broke down, it caught me left field for sure.
That caught everyone here too.
I thought when the Kinjaz did the beatboxing thing, I was like, holy crap, I've never seen anything like that. I thought the sliding dojo blew me away. You know what? I'll be really sentimental and lame, but like I think my favorite moment was maybe like Ep 2 when I broed out with the crew's Ep 1 in the Warner Brothers food
The commissary?
commissary, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And we'd all just have lunch and stuff, and everyone was a little like, wait, you're having lunch with us? Because I think in Australia, there's no divide between anyone on the show.
Host and talent.
No, we're all the same, man. It's like if you try to be anyone else, pull your head in, you'll get slapped around your ear. Where in America, there seems to be this divide sometimes. But so I went down and ate with them intentionally to knock down any wall, just so guys would know they could easily come over and say, yo, what's up at any point, or I want to try this. Which you saw by the end, they were like, hey, we want to put you in the start of our thing. This is our crazy idea.
Right.
Which was dope because the walls were down, you know? So after the first episode, we all ate, and then the second episode in the rehearsal, we all come out on stage, and the 5 or 6 crews are all on stage, and I'm standing there, I'm about to read all this copy. And they all just would come over one by one. I think I high-fived 60 people.
That's awesome.
They were like, yo, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. And it was like instantly we were all bros. And it happened so much quicker than I thought. And it was so sick, man.
That's very cool.
It was really cool. And then in the end, it kind of got hard to say goodbye to some of them.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Because I was chatting to them about, you know, what they want to do from the exposure of the show if they were lucky enough to win. So it was hard to say, sorry, man, you're not going to win. Your dream's like done. So it was tough, but, you know, these things happen.
I was going to ask, what was the hardest part? Saying goodbye.
I think telling Super Crew that they didn't, because Dunok and I hung out a bit. And he was cool, man. And we broed out a bit, and he was talking about what he wanted to do, and he had all these ideas, and he really thought he was going to stick around longer, at least top 2. And then I knew that one.
Yeah,
I knew that a couple of hours before I said it, and I was looking at him going,
that seems super tough just to kind of know, and he's talking to you.
He was
like,
blown away, man. They
you.
were shaking when I told them. They thought they got robbed.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Any news on another season?
I don't know. I actually have no
news on another
idea.
season.
No. I was talking to someone else about another show. And I'm doing a bunch of other stuff at the moment, but I don't know, man.
Why don't you talk about some of the other stuff you're doing?
Oh, yeah, so what am I doing? I'm designing a fashion line.
Yeah, there it
This
is.
is my lead into the plug.
Yeah.
It's my last name is Dundas, and it's Dundas Fit.
Nice.
F-I-T. You can buy it at dundasfit.com worldwide.
And
it's
action
active.
wear.
It's activewear clothing. And the idea is that it's fashionable activewear. So it's kind of like there's a brand called James Purse or maybe a brand called John Varvatos. It's like cooler streetwear brands.
Very cool.
It's a mix of that with a brand like Nike. So it's clothes you can wear to the gym, but you can have an identity. You can feel cool. You can be stylish. You can wear all black, whatever you want to do. We have minimal branding, really simple flat colors or neutral. So it was a 3-year project, and it hit stores in Australia 3 weeks ago, and it's selling pretty dope. So we're working on the next collection right now.
Congratulations.
That's awesome,
Thanks.
man.
We're gonna make a cycling outfit, man. Like
A cycling outfit.
like full on Tour de France.
Bodysuit.
Top to bottom
Oh.
bodysuit with the half zip, the whole thing. It's sick.
And if you guys are wondering why the Australian host of America's Best Dance Crew has a successful fashion line, check out his Instagram and check out his 12-pack, and you will see why he is fit to make
Because I'm
activewear.
obsessed with going to the gym. And I actually became a health coach the last 12 months. I studied on the side out of New York. It's pretty easy.
Very
actually.
cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I can tell you what to eat to look ripped.
Anything else from the season you want to discuss before we part ways?
Nah, man, I just feel really honored to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think it was cool, and I'm dying to do it again because I'd love to see what new talent can come out. I'd love
So
to be
much out
blown
there,
away by
definitely.
something new. And I think if we did it again, I quite like the idea of having some of the older crews come back in a mentor capacity, like The Voice, or maybe add a 4th judge who's like a Dietrich's type character. I think that could be cool.
Yeah.
Someone young, you know? Someone under 25. I think that could be fun.
I think this was a really cool way of MTV to test the waters if ABDC was ready to come back.
Yeah.
I think by 96 million people voting, I think it's clear that it is ready to come back.
Yeah.
And I would love to see some new crews personally. And yeah, I like that, bring Hawk and Dietrichs and
Yeah, I think so.
them back as mentors like, like So You Think You Can Dance does. And yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool.
Now, would you open that up to America to vote each and every episode, or would you wait?
Well, then there's no point to have the judges, right?
Right.
So I think if it's new, I think for this season it was really hard because the judges had to vote between people who were really good. So
Right.
it's such a fine line. But I think in this sense, you'd probably do America in the finale.
Yeah. And
I
you
think
and
so.
there was a 7% difference in the first and the last 2.
Yeah.
That's insane. So yeah, if that's all that you guys got, that's all I got.
Cool.
Awesome.
This wraps it up. So thank you guys very, very much for tuning in to the America's Best Dance Crew AfterBuzz finale. It has been a very fun season. Sad that Lem couldn't be here and Desiree couldn't be here tonight, but I've been your host, Jeff Thurm. You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Jeff_Thurm, and keep the conversation going by commenting on YouTube, subscribing to our YouTube page, following us on Twitter and Instagram at AfterBuzz TV, and you guys can also make sure to check out the Jason and Mai's interview from the VMA Red Carpet. You guys can find that on YouTube as well. Nino.
Once again, guys, it's your boy Nino. Thank you for rocking with us here for the VMAs, a road to the VMAs for ABDC. You can find me at Nino Llanera on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Where can they find Jason?
Do I have to do it? This is like a big American thing.
Yeah.
We don't do this.
Promote.
We don't promote like this in Australia. But yeah, if you desired to follow me on another platform, I'm not begging you to, but you can go on Instagram. It's at Jason Dundas, Dundas.
And they can find your line at?
Yeah, DundasFit.com. Oh my god, I feel like I'm promoting so much stuff.
We're here for you.
I just wanted to jam out about ABDC.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so don't go to his website. Don't follow him on Twitter. Don't follow him on Instagram. Don't buy his clothes.
Just watch the next season, the 9th season of ABDC if we come back.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right, later, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.